Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Horizon. My name is Marlowe from Explorminate.com, and this is a 4X turn-based strategy game, and we're going to do a Let's Play of it. Before we get started, I want to thank the developers, L30 Interactive. They were kind enough to gift a copy or two of this game to Explorminate, so that was very kind of them. They absolutely did not have to do that. But let's get started in the game. Now, I have played this game a little bit. I am certainly no expert, so please tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comments, those of you who are very good at this game. We're going to be the Earth Alliance. It's the only empire that I am familiar with so far. We can customize it, but we're gonna leave it alone. We're basically the humans. We're average at everything. Our home planet is Earth, and our home system is Sol. We like Terran planets. We're devious, which means something. We are especially clever at influencing other races to get what they want. So, we have a diplomacy bonus, essentially. And we have a representative government, which apparently doesn't have a tooltip. So, we're going to start with nuclear engines 1, nuclear power generator 1, titanium armor, so on and so forth, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And my cat is trying to help us with recording. Go away, thank you. So, we'll start with all these basic technologies. We are one of the younger races in the galaxy. The humans are highly adaptable and tend to form relationships easily with other species. They can also be cunning and stubborn in the face of opposition, making them a dangerous race as enemies. And, we can apparently save our choices. But we're gonna stay as the humans and just be average. Our opponents will be basically everyone else in the game. We can modify them, but we're not going to. We're going to play against the default races. So we're going to have an average quantity of stars across the galaxy, an average size galaxy. So 60 to 72, in case you can't read the tooltip on YouTube, it might be kind of small. There are going to be 6 anomalies in the galaxy. I don't really know exactly what that means. In my test games, I have not yet come across that. We're going to leave our scenario in normal, which allows us to choose the starting level of civilizations in the galaxy. There are different storylines, basically, that seem to take place as the game progresses. You can turn that off, but we're going to leave it on because I think it'll be more interesting. Let's see. There is also a classic mode, which basically removes all that, and it would make it just more like a straight-up sandbox 4X game. But we'll leave the scenarios on just for fun. We're going to leave these missions, which will kind of story-based, lore-based missions, is what they are. Habitable planets will be common. Our other choices are rare, and that's all of our other choices. We're going to have up to 9 planets in a system. No star system will have no more than 9 planets. Special planets will be rare. We could also make them common, and that's it. Okay, we'll leave the tutorials off because I've already done that. And let's start the game. Game difficulty will be normal. Random events will happen very rarely, and we'll leave that alone. Some of the art in the game I think is really cool. Hopefully you can see this screen well enough as the game generates the universe to appreciate that. And there's a little cutscene here, which I'm going to skip, actually. But basically it shows that an extraterrestrial probe was discovered near the edge of our solar system in the year 2020. From a species named the Cortaz. As the new commander of our new fleet, I've been granted access to this classified message. And here's the message. We, the Cortaz, have sent this message throughout the galaxy for all sentient beings. This is our story and our struggle for existence. Long before this galaxy had formed, and before we came to exist, immortal and immaterial beings of pure light and energy roamed. These beings, the Verarians, have always been. They are our creators. The Verarians, that's a hard word to say, engineered us in an effort to build an ideal material companion race. There were trials that followed our creation to ensure compatibility between our two people. In these we did not endure, and they considered us a failure. Our undoing was desired by the Verarians, and in the battles that followed many of our kind were lost. Some of us fled to the vastness of space and set forth a plan to rid this galaxy of our architects. Our plan: to spread the spores of life throughout the galaxy in hopes that these seeds would birth new civilizations that might aid us in our struggle against the Verarians. The Verarians had learned of our plan and were intrigued. They did not interfere, and the galaxy was left to mature. We hid while indigenous people emerged throughout the galaxy, some evolving to spacefaring civilizations. They watched, and we understood their intent. Undaunted by their lack of success, our makers persist in their pursuit of finding their companion race. This companion race whom they promise to elevate to a higher level of consciousness. Be cautious in your galactic travels, for our struggles for survival may yet become yours as well. We fear this, and we must not allow this to happen. Okay, along with the message was an overwhelming amount of alien data. It has taken over 100 years for our researchers to adapt this information for use. The year is now 2151. Portions of the data uncovered has led us to a ship design capable of interstellar travel. The probe has since drifted to Pluto. My orders are to send a crew to Pluto in one of these ships to investigate the probe and retrieve what they can. Okay, I don't think... Since we turned off the tutorials, I'm pretty certain that the probe is not actually there. Typically, we would see the probe here in this little list of ships. Let me explain kind of what we're seeing here. Okay, so let me use the arrow keys. It's a little easier to scroll around and a bit slower, which I prefer. Alright, so this is the whole galaxy, much like Master of Orion 2. You can see all the stars at the beginning. Let me click on something else so that that goes away. This is the highlighted green is the Sol system. This is our solar system. If we click on it, we'll see all the planets with which you are familiar from your days in elementary school. We have a colonizer ship, we have a star base, and we have a scout that can go and do things. And we're going to have them go do things. We can colonize other planets in our system at the moment without terraforming. The only other planets I think that we can colonize are Mars and Pluto. Of course, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are all gas giants. I don't believe that the moons are represented. You'll see them float by, but you can't colonize them, which is understandable from a game design point of view, but it would have been nice. But at any rate, since we'll probably colonize those moons in real life one day. Right. Okay, so our journal is blinking at us because it's blinking at us. Okay. So, right. So I'm going to zoom back in just a little bit so that things are a little bit easier to see, particularly when this is on YouTube. But yeah, so all of these stars are, of course, well, stars, and we can send our ships to those stars to scout them, and we will do that. First, though, have we... Okay. We can colonize Mars, we can colonize Pluto. Venus would require terraforming before we could colonize it. Mercury, same thing, and then Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. As gas giants, we can never colonize those planets. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to send the colonizer to Mars to establish a colony. To do that, you have your list of ships, well, this is a list of ships, but eventually it's going to be a list of task forces or fleets. But right now, it's just a list of ships because this is all we have. So I've clicked on the colonizer, mouse over orders, and this menu pops up. I'm going to choose colonize, and then I'm going to click over here on Mars on the list of planets over here. Now, we need to do something on Earth. You can build multiple things at the same time in this game, which is interesting. But I think that what we're going to start off with is actually the pod. We don't have a lot of money right now. Let's for right now, let's build a we're just going to build the entertainment center. We've already got a star base. We could build shipyards, and we will later. We can build defenses, but we don't really need to right this moment. Another scout would probably be helpful, so we're going to do that. Now, if you want, you can cycle through your designs here. We're going to build another scout number 2. I'll show you how to design ships later when that becomes more relevant. So we're just going to hit the plus, and we can build a scout in 3 turns while we're building the entertainment facility, the pod racing arena. So it's pretty cool that you can build things, multiple things at the same time, I think. It's pretty neat. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. So these tiles, each represent, that you can see here, all represent sectors. We are currently in the Sol sector, named after the system in the sector. Some of these sectors have no stars in them, of course, and some have other stars. We can move. The highlighted sectors basically show the range of our ship, and you'll see as I click on different. Well, the starbase has no range; it's a starbase. But you'll see as I click on the colonizer and then the scout that the range changes. So that's what the highlighted area indicates, is the area in which we can explore. So we're going to tell our scout we're going to issue a move command, and just like Master of Orion 2, a dotted line is drawn. It tells you how many turns it will take to get to those places. This looks like another yellow star here, which is a good chance to find Terran planets. It'll take us 4 turns to get there, so that's where we're going to go. Right. It has enough supplies to go somewhere 10 turns away. That's the range. It doesn't mean that you have to resupply the ship every 10 turns or anything like that. It's more of an indication of how far you can currently travel with your current technology. Now, we also we need to be researching something. The research system in this game is interesting and, to my knowledge, fairly unique. Now, similar to Master of Orion 2, you have different areas of research, different subjects, but that's about where the similarities end. So we can research in any of these areas. I think, can we research in more than one at the same time? We actually can. We can research in more than one at the same time, which is interesting. How many can we do? Okay, we can research only one thing in each category, evidently. I didn't really experiment with that very much in the test game that I was playing. So that's interesting. And now, in addition to choosing what area we'd like to research, at times your researchers will actually kind of discover things on their own, even when you're not trying to research them. And I guess that makes sense. I mean, I think that happens in real life, right? I mean, scientists will sometimes make discoveries kind of accidentally, so to speak. They may be studying one thing and realize that in so doing they have revealed things that we didn't know before about the nature of something related, but maybe not necessarily on target as to what they were actually studying. So that can happen in this game, and you'll see that come up from time to time as we start passing turns. Now, I personally think that the best thing to go for, at least with the humans, Universal Translator is good, so that we can communicate with other races when we meet them. And it won't take us very long to meet them the way we have our settings. So we want to be able to communicate with them, because remember, our main bonus has to do with diplomacy. So diplomacy is going to be important to us in this playthrough. With other races that may not be the case, but with the humans, from what I can tell, seems to be a good move. Now, there's one other thing that makes the research area of the portion of this game, I think, unique, and that is you can funnel your research power, so to speak, into different areas. In other words, you can create areas of emphasis in your research. So we are currently generating 2,932 points of research, I guess. I don't know what that number actually represents, but what I do know is that up here you get the breakdown of where that research is going. Now, we don't have to do anything, but what we can do is focus. So we've chosen Universal Translator, which is in the electronics section. Each section, of course, is represented in this list over here. If I click on electronics over here, it puts more emphasis on the electronics section, and you'll see that the number of turns to get Universal Translator has dropped significantly. If I click on it again, everything will go back to the default. If I click on electronics and then click on something else, you can't put emphasis, even though I can research more than one thing. And I think I probably will. You can only put emphasis in one area. I can't share the emphasis across multiple areas. It would be interesting if you could do that, and maybe that's functionality the developers could add later, perhaps, but because that could lead to some interesting choices. But for now, we're going to leave our focus on electronics, because I expect, based on my test game, that we're likely to meet, and based on our position in the galaxy starting out, we're likely to meet other races fairly quickly, and I want to be able to talk to them and establish some relationships with them, particularly with regard to trade. I think could be nice. So, okay, we've done everything that we can basically do on this turn. Let me tell you other things we've got here. We see the year. That doesn't tell us much. We have command points essentially here that indicate how many ships we can have. This is our money. We have 9.56 billion credits. You will probably hear me refer to that as dollars from time to time, no matter how hard I try. And our income is currently plus 118 million credits per turn. And this, just game menus and stuff like that. So that's basically what we're looking at. So we're going to end our turn, and immediately you will see that our... Oh yes. So here is the colonization animation. If you've watched the beginning of my Master of Orion 2 Let's Play, you'll know that I particularly like the animation in that game for colonizing. I think this one's pretty cool as well. But we've established a new outpost, and this would be on Mars. Every colony starts as a new outpost. Just like a lot of games, you get kind of a turn report summary of things that have happened since you hit new turn. Now, our colonizer has been refit and awaits new orders. Unlike some games, like Master of Orion 2, for example, is a good example, a colonizing ship is a one-use ship. You use it one time, you have to build another one. You can't ever use that particular colonizer again. This one, in this game, you can. You can send it back to a star base, or a system that has a star base, and it will be refit, which means it's ready to colonize another planet. It's pretty cool. So we have colonized Mars, and so on and so forth. So let's check out Mars. Now the planet screen is pretty neat. First of all, I think the images of the planets that they've created are pretty cool. It tells you a lot about the planets. Right now, Mars is an Earth Alliance military outpost. So I also think it's cool that they chose the term Earth Alliance, because that is the name of the government of the human race in the TV show Babylon 5, which I is a favorite of mine. So that's a nice little touch for me personally. You get 10 internet points if you're also a fan of Babylon 5. Please write that down. But it tells us that we have a medium desert planet. We have poor resources, which, like Master of Orion 2, indicates the capacity for production. We have low pollution here. We have 25% of the area of the planet is habitable area. We can probably terraform this later. Population capacity is currently 2 billion people. We have a population growth penalty. The planet will support 9 civilian buildings, which is important. We need to make sure that we choose carefully in that regard. We have to build buildings to farm, like biodomes or something like that. Our farming efficiency is only 50% on this planet, and maintenance is an additional 25% as opposed to a Terran planet. So, and every planet is going to have these statistics. And of course, depending on what race you are, you might prefer different planets. So, and that's, I think, adds some interesting strategic aspects to the game. Now, so every colony that you build will start out as a military outpost. To make it into a colony, you actually have to upgrade it. It will only take 5 turns. I see no reason not to do that immediately. In this instance, in fact, I see no reason not to upgrade it into a colony every time so far. If there is a reason to do that, please let me know. To leave something as an outpost, I would be interested to hear that. Please tell me in the comments, because I am certainly still learning how to play this game. So, at any rate, we're going to set that up. But yeah, so, and you'll note that, it tells us humans. That means humans live there. We're going to do Pluto later. But yeah, so that's how you kind of found a new colony, and we'll get into that more here in the next few turns, because once the 5 turns has elapsed and Mars becomes a genuine colony, then we can start building some other structures there to start developing the planet. Alright, Pod Racing Arena was built on Earth. If we click on that, we go straight to the planet screen for Earth, and we can choose to build other things, which we probably should do. Probably... I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, what to build at this point. Trade is attractive. And in fact, I think I'll do that, because even before we meet any other races, we still get an income benefit from it. And it doesn't cost very much to build it. Every building that you build will have a cost, not only in turns, but in money. And sometimes you can't afford it. So we're going to upgrade the trade center, because as soon as we do meet other races, that's going to even benefit our economy even more, and hopefully be, enable us to build some other things. Alright, no other news for that turn. Our 2 more turns, our scout will have reached another planet. I think the mechanism for that's pretty cool. Alright, scout number 2 was built on Earth. We're going to have scout number 2 move to... This is a neutron star, which means there's not going to really be any planets there, probably. So we're going to send them to a system that's more likely to have planets. Right now we're looking for expansion possibilities more than anything else. So, alright, we'll end this turn, and we have discovered the Blight system. And, major progress has been made in Universal Translator. So, that means that we've discovered Universal Translator 2. We get plus 12% favor in diplomacy interactions, because we're able to communicate better. And this tells us, what will happen if we continue to upgrade this technology, which we certainly could do. Let's go to our research screen, in fact. And we could continue researching that, but instead, I'm going to put the points into propulsion, and let's get nuclear engines a little bit faster. That will enable our ships to go around a little bit faster. Let's see if we discovered any planets at the Blight system. We did, but not particularly good ones. We have an Arctic planet, which I think we can colonize. Yeah, we can without terraforming. It's not going to be a great planet. We don't know the resources or the pollution level yet because we have not ordered the scouting ship to survey the planet. We need to do that. But of course, Arctic planets are going to have some issues. So are desert planets. But we're going to have our ship here survey. Let's have it just survey the system. No, excuse me. That was wrong. Survey the planet. Sorry, didn't look far enough up the list. Let's survey the Arctic planet, and we will end our turn. And much like other games, sometimes you just hit in turn a couple of times. Okay, so the colony was built on Mars, and so now we have the options to build lots of other things. We're going to build the trade docks. We're actually losing money on this colony, as you can see right here. And actually, we're going to build the farming facilities at the same time. Because we need to be able to... The reason we're losing money on the colony is because we're shipping food there. I believe that's why that's happening. Well, that and building maintenance is higher on this world. But my limited experience has been that once we start producing our own food on Mars, it will lessen the pain a bit of the finances. So, okay, so we have surveyed this planet. Let's click on it again and see what we have. There's nothing special about this planet, no archaeological findings. We have a planet with abundant resources, low pollution. And yeah, otherwise it's not terribly surprising. So we may colonize that planet eventually. Let's survey the desert planet, just in case. It's not necessarily a high priority to colonize it. Alright, let's take a look at this. Nothing of interest. A poorer planet, so low resources. Pollution is low, blah blah blah. Nothing exciting about this planet. Not terribly surprising. Okay, let's move. We're gonna go down here to this other yellow star. Trying to go to places that may be more likely to produce Terran worlds. Alright, we've made a breakthrough on our nuclear engines. So that's a happy situation. Let's see. We have universal translator. Hailing communicator could be useful at this point, but I think logistics would actually be good, because it increases the range that ships can travel from the nearest colony, which enables us to explore more, which we want to do. Okay, we have arrived at the Yalan system, and here it is. Oh, there's a Terran world here. A Terran world. That's exactly what we wanted to find. So, let's survey this planet. And in the meantime, let's come back to Sol. We're going to take our colonizer and move it to Yalan, because we want to expand. For all the reasons that you want to expand. Alright. Antimatter engines are powerful and fast, making them ideal for interstellar travel. The speed does come at the expense of lower maneuverability. I don't know why I can't read. in close combat, improved when coupled with hydrogen power generators. So we weren't even really researching this. This just kind of happened. So this is kind of what I was talking about before. It just it's just kind of a random discovery while we were researching other things. So nothing wrong with that. Now, why did that happen? Honestly, I don't know. I wish I knew why that happened, but I don't know why that happened. Now, we can't use antimatter engines yet. We need to actually... we've discovered it, but we need to research it more to be able to actually use the technology. So think of it right now as that we understand that this is possible to have antimatter engines, but we have not yet developed antimatter engines that we're able to use on a regular basis. They're kind of experimental right now. Think of it like that. Okay, well, this has been about 30 minutes at this point, so we're going to cut the video here. But when we come back, we're going to continue exploring space and hopefully find some more places to colonize in the very near future. So, and we're about to make first contact, but that'll have to wait until next time. Until then, hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you in the next one.